Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and today I have my design space with Cricut opened, and I'm going to show you how to make a stencil using the Cricut Design Space and transparency film. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing a search through my Cricut cartridges that are on my system, and I've got this little what are these? Gardening tools, banner or border. And so I'm going to open that up into the system. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to weld these together, and that makes them all one color. The next thing I'm going to do is just shrink it just a little bit. And then I'm going to duplicate it by right-clicking and get the duplicate menu. And then I'm going to line it up just a little bit where I want it to overlap here in the middle. And then I'll take both of those and click on arrange and then align to the top. So that gets them across the top the same. Next, I'm going to right click and weld. So now I've got this one long continuous piece. I am going to make it just a little bit shorter because my transparent film is 8.5 by 11 inches. You can go in here and say 10.99 if you want and make sure that that works for your device. I like to work in landscape mode, so that's why I've made it almost 11 inches long. So this is the first part of the stencil making. So what I'm going to do next is duplicate this, and I'm going to duplicate it again. And I'm going to duplicate it again. So these are almost 2 inches in height. And the next thing I'm going to do is take this top one and push it up into the next one. Select the two, align, and then align to the left. So that moves those over. Then I will weld those two, and now we're starting to build our stencil. I'm going to do this again with the next ones, just continuing until I have it the length that I want this, or excuse me, the height that I want this to be. So currently this is at 4 inches tall, and I know that I'm going to want to go to 8.5 inches tall. So probably what I could get away with, and I'm going to try it, is duplicating the 3 of these together and then aligning them. I'm going to move this one out of the way. So as long as this one is touching the others just slightly, and then I'll select all of those and align to the left. Looks like I need to move this one up just a small amount, and then weld those. So we're at 7.99, so I'm going to go ahead and take this orphaned one that is down here at the bottom and push it up into the others. Select all of those. I keep adjusting them. And then I will align left again. And then I will weld. And then I'll check out to see how tall this is. It's 9.251. So what I'm going to do is see what it looks like if I unlock the feature to keep this locked as one image proportional, and see what happens if I go 8.5 and enter. And it squishes it a little bit, but it still leaves it as a good design. So here is the beginnings of the stencil that I've made that's going to be with gardening tools. Now I like to go ahead and save it, so I have it. So garden tool stencil, and then I'll save that so I have it in case a glitch happens, because you never know with computers what might happen. And then when I click on make it, It will then show me how it's going to be on my page, and I will take some transparency film and attach it to my page, and I'll show you in just a moment how it looks when it starts to cut. I'll be right back.
So what we've got here is the standard Cricut mat, and I've got some transparency film. This happens to be just 8.5 by 11 right on transparency film. So I'm just going to pull one of these out. And then you remove the protector off. Now, when I cut mine a few times ago, my mat, I set it to cut to an 8.5 by 11 frame, and it kind of scarred my mat just a little bit. So it's a frame that I use to place my transparency down, because if I put it all the way to the edge, it doesn't cut the transparency to the edge. It starts here. That's a trick that I learned. So you can do the same on yours just by telling your Cricut to cut an 8.5 by 11 square on a 12 by 12. Have it cut, make it cut just a little deep, and it'll scar your mat just a little bit. So I'm going to line this up. It takes me a moment. So I'm lining it up with the scar, if you will, on my mat. The next thing I'll do is I'll take this over and put it in my Cricut. Alright, so I've told the software on my computer to cut, and so it has loaded my Cricut Explore Air. I have it set to fabric, so I'll kind of zoom in so you can see that, on my cutting dial, and it is ready for me to load. So I'm going to load it up and we'll get started. Alright, it has finished cutting, and what I like to do is kind of test it to make sure that it's cut all the way through, because if I didn't put a new blade in, and it looks like it's lifting free, so I'll go ahead and just remove it from the machine. And then the next thing I do is I just start gently peeling away the stencil. So I'm trying to do it where you guys can see. So hopefully you can see that using that green paper as a background. There is my stencil that is approximately 8.5 by 11 in size. I'll go ahead and go over to my other papers and spray this with some Tattered Angels. I'll just give some still shots at the end so you get the idea. I have other videos that show how I use the stencils, so I didn't want to include that in this video. If you liked this idea and you can't make your own, I am going to have a few stencils for sale in my online store. Check out the description box for those. If you like this video because you learned something new, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. If you would, please comment below what you thought of this. What kind of images would you like to see for a stencil? And maybe I can make one of those up just to show you how it can be done. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great day. Bye!